I've never made a video like this, but I'm going to. It's Father's Day, and I decided to visit my dad here at his church. I'm at church right now, and really quick, my dad, he's a lot more good than he is bad. He's fine. And if I had any vice, if I had any complaint about my dad, it would be that how much of a Passover he is, and then to my mom, and how much of an enabler he is. My mom, she's just been a really messed up, I'm pretty sure, mentally sick person. All the words, whatever you want to call it, psycho, narcissistic, a child. Like, she has the maturity of a child. And I've spent a lot of years, trying to work on, myself, as far as like making sure I don't carry any habits, or I don't have any lingering bad behaviors from any kind of PTSD or childhood trauma, because I spent my whole life running away from a woman like this. And in adult years, I learned when you run away, you're going to usually run into those problems with friendships, romantic relationships. So you don't want to run away, you want to kind of turn around and confront them, all that good stuff. Okay, so I'm sitting here at church, and after the service, my mom comes up to me, and she's in a mood. She usually is in a piss poor mood a lot. She is a miserable woman, straight up. Okay, especially for a woman who hasn't had to have a job in 40 years. She's been taken care of by my dad. She's been married 4 times, and the 4th time she won, because my dad took care of her, takes all of her crazy, and she hasn't had to have a job, fend for herself, nothing. Totally taken care of. The finances of the house, the vacation plans, money spent on anything she wants. She's been taken care of, yeah? So, anyways, she comes up to me and says someone broke in their house last night. And mind you, she just already has a pissy attitude about me. I'm just one of those kids. I just can never do anything right. It doesn't matter what new thing is. I think the new thing right now is she thinks I'm trying to set my dad up with women, and I'm just like, bro, I haven't. Like, I don't have any freaking interest, bro. I have a sweet 9-year-old daughter I'm trying to raise. I'm trying to self-develop myself, and I have two successful companies that I'm trying to take care of. Okay, I got things to do. I don't have the luxury of sitting in my stew, like she has for the past 40 years, and she doesn't have to do anything. All right, like, I have things to do. And I already know, I've already been cried to my dad for like 10, 15, 20 years to get rid of her and stuff, and like, she's horrible, and like, I already tried all that. I leave him alone now, because my dad just stays, and I'm tired. I already said my piece many years ago. So anyways, she's convinced that I'm trying to set up my dad with women. Mind you, she's also 82 now, so my dad says her brain's really starting to go. And I'm like, all right, cool, let's just continue to tolerate and put up with mom now in her elderly old age. At least now she has an excuse for being more crazy and psycho, as now she's in her 80s, so maybe her brain's slipping. So she comes and talks to me, and she told me that somebody came in their room last night. Her room. They live in a new house here in Utah, and she's like, somebody broke in. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm sitting there at church. Well, after church, she's telling me this, and she's like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, what does that mean? I'm just trying to be myself and be genuine. Like, she said, someone came in and they had a sweater wrapped over their head, and I was like, where was dad? And she said he was downstairs, because they have a basement. And she's like, they're downstairs in the room. and she was upstairs. And I'm like, all right. Did you call the police? And she's like, yeah, I called the police. And I'm like, all right. But how she's saying it to me, you guys, the tonality, how she's saying it to me, it wasn't like having it like a deep convo of someone looking for compassion and sympathy. She's saying it like, yeah, I called the police. I'm like, you're coming up to me telling me your story and you have an attitude. What? And then she's like, yeah, I called the police. They made a report. And I'm like, and she's telling me about how she has plans to secure and fortify the home. And I'm like, you should do that. You have a Ring camera. You should activate that. She's like, I am going to get a camera. I'm like, all right. And then she's like, and I'm like, and she's like, I'm also going to get a gun. And I'm like, you should. I'm like, wait, because they already have a gun. And I said, you should totally protect and defend yourself. And I put a sign, maybe you can deter people away before you even get to that point of someone having to come inside and hurt you, like deter them. And then, and then she just goes on to say, do you have a key to my house? And I said, yes. And let me say, one of the first things she asked me is, where were you yesterday? And I said, at home. She says, did you come to my house anytime yesterday morning, noon, or night? And I said, no, because I was not. I invited them to lunch and they declined and all this, they plans to meet up. We didn't. So I went home and did my own thing. And she's just like, she asked me like more than once, were you at my house? I said, no, I wasn't. She said, that is my house. I'm like, yes, that's your house. I'm a realtor, by the way, and I sold them their house. I know it's their house. And she's like, do you have a key to my house? I says, yes, I have a key. Because I have a key, because I'm their daughter, and why not? And my dad is 100% fine with me having a key. And I check on the property when they're not there. They have cats, and check the mail, bring in the garbage back and forth. Whatever, I have a key because I have a key because I'm their freaking child. And usually good family members have a key to your house. And, my dad wants me to have a key. And then, she keeps rattling off. And one of the last things that she says to me is, it's like, I feel like she wanted to say this from the beginning, but she didn't want to. But she says to me, make sure you tell me when you're going to come over to my house. I said, of course, no problem. I used to go there to check on your mail or bring your trash cans in, or when you and dad leave the state. But you know what? I can see how upset you are. Of course. From now on, message received. I will not come over unless I let you guys know, which I've always done anyways. I've always called my dad because she don't have a cell phone. She don't know how to use a cell phone. So I always tell my dad, I'll be over, and I come over to the house. And I reconfirmed to her, of course, I will let you know before I come over. And then she says to me, just let me know. If you come to my house, I would hate to have to blow your head off. And now I'm sitting outside their church and only have a minute on this TikTok. One of the reasons why I even started this channel is I wanted to help people to feel seen and heard from narcissistic abuse in their childhood. And I just turned 40, and you think you're grown and you got a handle on it. And I'm sitting here, I'm a grown woman, and it still hurts. You can do nothing. I know my mom's, I try to say she's 82 and she's older, but sometimes how she talks to me, like it still hurts, to where I have to sit down at a outside of church just to take a minute to process the hurtful things that she says. And I don't know where this is going with, why I created this channel, but we'll see if I unpack ways to heal and how to get through, hurtful things that parents like this will say.